In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a rope with an endorphin, but we're going to have them linked together as in a chain, and we're going to need a program that can produce FBX files for joints and bones. Motion Builder is one of the programs that can do this, and there's other programs, and I believe there's some freeware ones out there that can do this. But anyway, we're going to get started with Motion Builder, and we're going to go to orthographic front. Then we're going to select over into elements. Then we're going to double click the skeletal knot here. As you can see, my white crosshair is now my cursor, and I'm going to use this back grid as a reference because I'm going to try drawing a straight line across here of my joints and bones here. And when my cursor overlaps the grid there, you can see it kind of blends in, and that kind of gives me the indication that I am right dead on the mark there. Now I'll probably just end up pausing the video and just do a couple of these here. So let me pause the video and I'll finish this up. Alright, that's finished right now, so let's take a look at it. And you can see here it's pretty straight. So let's go ahead and save this out as an FBX, and we'll call this rope. And just leave everything at default, will be fine. Now I'm going to pause the video and load up endorphin. Alright, I'm going to import the rope here, but I'm just going to go ahead and size this up next to the character before I really get started, and I'll explain the reason why I'm doing this. So we'll just press import, and there's the rope FBX, and we'll leave everything at default. Just take a look at it. Well, compared to the character, the rope looks a little bit short. Maybe I wanted something a little bit longer. Let's go to File, Import. And let's go ahead and kick the value up to 2. It's a little bit longer, and let's say I'm happy with that. So since I know the value is 2.0 on that, we'll just go ahead and go to New Character. And check the character, create character using, check the box down here for create reference character using, load the FBX, press OK. We'll switch the scale size down to 2 like I had when I sized it up. Got options to select all the twists to it for all the bones and joints, or all the swings. So I'm going to uncheck the twist and leave all the swings at 45. And we're going to go ahead and press OK. And as you can see, the character cube's down here, and sometimes this happens in some cases, not all cases, and I want to kind of keep the center of this rope in the center of the cube here. So what I do is right click and I'll go into skeletal view. I can marquee select here, and I can set it down and move it over here. And if you select at the back of the chains without marquee selecting, if I select here, you can see they all will follow. But if I kind of select up here, you see they don't all follow. So I'll just select back here. And what I want to do is just set that up to about the center. Let's say we'll go ahead and go to top view, and it looks somewhat center. Right click, front view, and if you notice that when I sized it up to the character, that it actually looks bigger when you're in the editing mode compared to the reference grid. So that's why I wanted to size it up. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at some of these settings. Let's go ahead and click here, and you can see some of the limits that I had all set was 4.50. Now if you want to change all these, you can marquee select this, but the problem here is you're going to end up selecting the character cube, so we'll just go ahead and right click here and display, uncheck the cube, and we'll select it again here. And what we'll do is we'll just select this back one by holding the control key. Let's go ahead and select that there, and let's try that again. Now we have all the options over here, and I can set all the information. Here's a big roll, and everything here is this the locking option right here, and I'll press chords all. This will make them all pretty stiff, and I'm just going to go ahead and thing not to do is I'll show you here is let's go into the wireframe mode here. That way you can kind of see everything. This is the mass object. If you look over here on the left, and if you move the mass object, then the collision will follow. As there's a collision right there. Let me just go ahead into shaded mode so you can see it. And this Control Z that back. So what the problem is, if you move the mass object, you're going to move it away from the bone. You don't want to do that because there's the bone still stuck down there. So what you do is you select the mass object and go up in the tree up here. As you can see, I'm on skeletal node mass number 9, and I need to go right up here. That way if I do decide to move something, I am moving the bone, and moving the mass object, and I'm moving the collision object, and they're all following together. Alright, I'm going to go on the next step. Alright, I had to pause the video, and what I explained a little bit earlier, that's just in case if you want to do some kind of tweaking on this rope. Maybe you decided you didn't want to make it a rope, or you want to make it something different. Different design. Alright. Now, if you right click in here, there's going to be options for display for things that can be seen and not can be seen. And that's the same way over here. If one don't work over here, and for some reason you think it's supposed to work over here, you need to check your options for display. So if I was to show type joints, and I'll right click and go to skeletal view, and there's my joints. Now that might not show if my display's off in my joints, so make sure that they're selected. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and hide all, show type mass objects. Make sure I need to go way up to the top of the, make sure you come to the top of the list here. So I think I was dropped down one, and that was only going to show the one mass object. With that selected, I'm going to select all these here. Any settings that I do to one of these mass objects here, let's see here, select this one, hold the control key down, try that. And if I was to adjust the density, this will apply to each one of them. Let's just take them all the way down far as they can go, and I'll just select the let me see how many I have here. I got a total of 9, so I'm going to select number 5, and I'm going to change the density on that to see what it looks like. And we're going to go ahead and kick this up quite a bit, and we'll just drag it up just to compare this. Now anytime that you change the radius to one of these mass objects, you probably want to do the same for the collision object. You pretty much want these the same size. So let's go ahead and just make sure everything's hidden. So we'll hide all, because when I make a rope I just want to make sure that the mass is only highlighted. And you might want to select here and make sure that the reference is on, because if not, you will not see the manipulator and you will not be able to grab it. So make sure that's on over here before you save it. Save character as, and we'll call this rope test. Alright, I'm going to open up the new scene here. We'll just go ahead and delete this guy here, and we're going to select the icon, and it's located in the folder that I saved it to, and we'll select it here. And we'll add a constraint to it, which is already set to that one. Alright, let's add a force to this. Take a look at it here. Let's add a force here at the end. Well, the density has a lot of factor to the force too, so let's go ahead and let's go to that number 5 there that we had changed the density on, and let's see that. I believe this was this one here. Let's see here. I believe it was. We'll go ahead and right click this and edit. Let me select that, and yes, it was the node number 5 mass. So you can tell the difference. And we'll go ahead and select here, control click here, and this is where you can kind of do some kind of adjusting, and by right clicking, edit character in the scene, and we'll just select these here. Let's add some weight to it. See if I can get it to sag in the middle a bit with the cord all there. So it's going to droop a little bit, and I'm out of edit mode, but I can still, as long as I'm not clicking anything, I should be able to still adjust this. I'll just go ahead and set this to 0 and see what happens here. As you can see, it's pretty tight there. Set that back to 0. That's one way you can adjust it. If you can visualize it as you're seeing it, then you can go back into new characters, reopen your file here, do your adjustment again, and when you're done, just go ahead and resave it. And there's all kinds of settings that you can do besides what I've showed you. Go to skeletal view, show type joints, let's take a look down here. As you can see, there's all kinds of options that you can do some adjustment for the swing and stuff, and you can adjust all the hard limits. I'm not going to get into all that detail. You'll have to do the video or the help file on all the swing limits and all that stuff, but that, like I said, that has a lot of factor to it. And this locking has a big factor where you can select all these for certain things. You might want to mess with some of these damping and stuff the way you want that rope to to work. You might want a little damping to it. You might want to disable all the swing to it. Maybe you don't want the rope to be that stiff. Let's see if I can turn this back off here. A little more time. Alright, and sometimes you gotta select the back, and sometimes this little one at the very end, if you control click it, then you'll get all these settings here. And if I want to have disable all the swing, no coordinates, we'll go shaded view, and we'll just overwrite this one here. Select new scene. I'll add a constraint to it. It's already preset to the end. As you can see, how that works there. Well, let's go ahead and right click and edit it. And we'll go to skeletal view. Control click each other one. Let's say we want to do the linear. Let's try that. Kind of wicked there. Let's take a look at that. So all kinds of little things that you can try here. Let's try a couple more here. And we'll try, I think the swing one. That'll also stiffen it up. Let's uncheck this, see what this does. Not what I'm looking for. Maybe that's the one I'm looking for. Well, you get the idea. There's all kinds of settings that you can do in here. You just got to mess with each one of these. Here's the one I was looking for. I had to pause the video a second. Coordinates, linear. And I'll just uncheck these here. As you can see, that the end of the rope here does not move, so we can just change the constraint to position. That way it'll swing with the rope. I would not recommend to have a rope that's got a lot of these mass objects and collisions, because each one of these, let me go explain this. Go to the skeletal view. Each one of these joints here is the equal amount of mass and collisions. If you have too many of them, yes, it will slow the program down. I found a fair decent between 15 and 20 masses and collisions would be sufficient. You could probably add more, but like I said, if you add too many of them, it's probably just gonna lag the program a little bit. And I'll control click this. There's all kinds of settings you can mess with. I'm just going to go over a few of them. And I'll just go ahead and load up one of my own ropes here and just take a look. And went to this folder here. We'll go with the soft one. And we'll select up here. We'll kind of compare the two here. But anyway, you get the idea, and thank you very much. There's all kinds of ropes that you can make, short ones, long ones, fat ones, skinny ones. The problem is if you make the ones that are real skinny and the collisions are skinny, or the radiuses of the rope, let me show you here. As you can see, the radius here, if it's too small and you have an object that collides with the rope, it could stick to the rope or pass through it. So you might want to make sure your radius is at the right size if you're trying to do certain things. I don't know if you want to make a wrestling ring or what kind of rope you're using. It depends. Like I said, just be careful. If you have that problem, you'll know to kick your radius up if your character passes through it or it sticks to the rope itself. Anyway, thank you very much.